Hey guys, it's me, Minecraft World, and welcome to episode 8 of Minecraft World on the Air. Ah, well, this one got a bit of pushback because I was dealing with a lot of things, but yeah, specifically flying home from California, now living back home in Utah. So, yeah, but today it is Beast from 20,000 Fathoms discussion time. We shall be talking about the movie that, well, one of two movies that inspired Godzilla. And so, I'm just sending out shill stuff to everyone to watch this and blah blah bloop. But yeah, let's take a look at who's in the chat. Well, it's one person currently, but there's 4 watching apparently. So, hello Hoshi, and hello Sea Monster. I will get the link to join very quickly in a bit, but first I just want to let people know that this is happening. So yeah, let me. There it is. There it is. All right. And for those interested, yeah, and for those interested in joining, I will post the link in Zimzilla's server in due time. Hello, Nico Stud. Let me first. If I'm clankering out, apologies. One sec. Oh, I forgot to turn off the echo for my thing. Oops. Let me just copy invite link and all right. And the link has been uploaded. For those in Zimzilla 99's Discord server, feel free to join. And yeah. I'm just gonna. So, okay. Thumbnail. Okay, and blabbity blabbity. Where? Oh! And there's the 3 people waiting. Hello.
Hey, Minecraft. How's it going?
And
Didn't expect it
hello.
to be this early. Oh, hey, Sea Monster.
Yeah, sorry.
Hi, Hoshi.
Go.
Sorry about the scheduling stuff. I'm hoping Zim can show up in due time. I think he's gonna be coming at some point, so we shall see.
honestly, I was totally fine with delaying this until today because I was really exhausted last night.
Yeah, understandable.
Also with everything that was going on last night, it was just,
yeah,
I think it would have been way too distracting.
Yeah, no, I get it. I had a birthday party beforehand, and honestly, I figured Zim would be exhausted. I honestly was not having interest in doing it yesterday, and so figured, fuck it, I'd push it back.
So, how are you guys doing?
I'm doing
cromulent.
Good. And I'm trying to stay warm because there's a cold front here.
Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you this, guys, but today me and my sister had an exam, and almost everyone succeeded in that exam.
Let's go!
Yay!
Yeah, my sister had turned up. Yeah, my sister's birthday was yesterday, so we kind of went to Olive Garden for dinner last night, and we had lunch earlier today.
Did you get any endless breadsticks?
Yeah, we did take advantage of the endless breadsticks.
Did you see Commander Walters there?
I did not, unfortunately.
A Sonic movie joke. Yes.
So
Let's
anyway,
go. All right.
As for me, I just right now watched this movie today.
Yay. So yeah, I'm just giving us some time to get everyone on.
Also, before
Yeah,
we
I'll send a
begin,
message.
Space Godzilla, let's go.
I am not. I'm not upset about it. I'm curious, considering Space Godzilla is such a very specific set of circumstances in comparison to someone like Orga, Gigan, or hell, even Griffin. How the fuck are they going to pull that off?
Yeah, I'm
Just
very
like
skeptical
Space
about it.
I was just gonna say, I really hope that Space Godzilla just has really cool moments that Ghidorah had, but also, I want him to also have deeper connection to Godzilla as well.
I certainly hope that he gets that there's a better script for Space Godzilla than the past couple of MonsterVerse movies, or even Godzilla, the original versus Space Godzilla movie.
My curiosity, that's the one thing that I'm worried about. How the fuck are they going to make this work?
Yeah.
And also, maybe if the
considering how I would argue how well Ghidorah was handled, I could see Space Godzilla being really well done character-wise. It's the origin that has me worried.
Yeah, it's everything around him. That's really how is that all gonna work?
Yeah, because Mechagodzilla is pretty self-explanatory. King Ghidorah has a wide variety of methods to implement him, and even then, Gotham made it work. Mothra and Rodan are Mothra and Rodan.
I'm
how
sure
are you going to handle this?
But the fact that he's returning
Godzilla,
after so long is insane.
Yeah.
Yep. And
so they better do him justice.
And everyone and their mother thought the Destroyer was going to show up.
It doesn't really make any sense because Destroyer doesn't have anything to do with outer space.
Exactly.
Yep. So, yeah, when are we going to discuss about this movie?
I don't know, just in general. I wanted to also talk about the original story. I don't know if you guys have read it yourself, but...
No.
I mean, I know of it, but I never read it myself.
Yeah, I listened to an audio reading of it yesterday. So, there's that. But, yeah. Yeah, I'm just waiting for Zim to show up. Because I just sent him a message. But yeah, so I take it all of us have watched it. I know you, Nico, have watched it with me, and have seen it before. I don't know if you watched it, C. And
I watched it a few days ago.
Good. Okay, good. Yeah, obviously, I think, as per usual with these discussions, I'd like to start off with broad thoughts about the film, where we all stand with it, generally speaking. So
it has the scene of the monster eating the policeman. It's easily a good movie.
You could say that this movie basically was the main inspiration for 98.
I mean, that's what James said during his Godzilla-thon video, that he's like, this movie is basically a remake of Beast of 20,000 Fathoms.
Yeah, if they just called it that instead of Godzilla, it probably would have gotten a better reputation at least.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
That would be an interesting timeline.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be. Yeah,
Characters would be garbage, though.
Yeah, I mean, it would still be a bad movie, if you changed nothing about the script, but just the name of the creature and the title of the film. Yeah, it would still be bad.
Yeah, it'd still be...
It's entertaining, but it's not high art.
Yeah. But yeah, for Beast of 20,000 Fathoms, I think it's not a personal favorite of mine, but it is a film that I do personally respect quite a lot, and yeah, it's kind of self-explanatory in terms of reputation. This is one of the first atomic age monster movies. I believe this is Harryhausen's primary first like effects debut without the help of his mentor, because it was a collaborative effort between him and Willis O'Brien for Mighty Joe Young, I think. So this was like his first proper debut, and obviously the era of atomic monsters that it would indirectly, I think, spawn is, I mean, it speaks for itself. We got Godzilla out of it, so yeah.
Which kind of ironic, and not considered that this movie was like the main inspiration for the original 1954 film.
Well, it was one of two. The other one was King Kong.
Because of course King Kong is very influential.
Yeah.
I mean, it's straight up one of the most important pieces of cinema history. End of sentence. So, yeah, but yeah, I'm just, yeah, where do we start with this thing?
I thought we were still doing broad thoughts still.
Oh yeah, broad thoughts. Everyone else go. Everyone else, please.
I thought, considering that I'm like the newest guy who watched this movie for the very first time, I could say that this film is okay. Like, it's not groundbreaking, nor I think it's bad. I think it's a perfectly serviceable film. The characters are okay. The monster Rhedosaurus is probably the best part of the movie. And I thought that the setting is really interesting. I always am a fan of this, like 1950s style setting, black and white. But also, I just like the vibe, the tone of the movie, how it all connects to like paleontology, and how the characters are trying to better understand the Rhedosaurus and where he comes from. But also, I just like how they implement creature design, especially how this is like one of Ray Harryhausen's first movies that he worked with. And with that, I can safely say that I can understand why this movie is one of the most important movies out there, especially considering it's one of the main inspirations for the Godzilla movie, the very first Godzilla movie. So yeah, that's my thoughts.
All right, I guess I'll go next. Yeah, I pretty much liked the movie. I definitely it's a film that I appreciate as like a piece of like creature cinema, more than I pretty much adore as like a movie necessarily. I mainly just kind of like it. It's like, if you ask me, like, I think the stuff that's like in the first 40 or so minutes before the creature hits the city, is actually pretty strong. Is actually fairly strong structure wise. Because I do think the pacing kind of gets thrown off a bit once the Rhedosaurus hits the city, despite the fact that that has some obviously some very iconic imagery with the Rhedosaurus terrorizing Manhattan, with the effects being really well done by Ray Harryhausen, obviously. And it's not because the movie ends up going way too slow or going to a crawl. If anything, it actually goes way too fast. Actually, there's some there's like a particular plot element involving the Rhedosaurus that just sort of it's not like it breaks the film, but it sort of comes out of nowhere. Doesn't really have much setup or fanfare necessarily, and it's really tacked on, all things considered. Which I'm sure we will get to. And the cast of human characters were, they're not much to write home about character-wise, but there's a decent bit of charm to them, and the actors are definitely a brilliant. Like, if you ask me, the actor who plays the professor is probably the professor was probably my favorite character in the whole movie. He's very charming and very likable, things considered, and which we'll get to more about him in a
I
minute.
honestly thought that he was gonna be like the twist villain of the movie.
I'm not even sure how you would fit that in a film like this. To be honest,
especially from a movie from the 50s.
yeah, and I definitely think that as far as like considering that the film even starts out with the whole nuclear test thing, what have you, and about the atomic age, what have you, it seemed like after that, like that wasn't really it. It seemed like whatever like sort of allegory, whatever the film would maybe wanted to say about that, kind of gets lost in the shuffle or doesn't really come up much again after that. Like considering that atomic weapons is nuclear tests are kind of like what kickstart the film in the first place. So, but yeah, I have issues with the film, but I definitely think it's still good and definitely certainly a pioneer for its time for certain reasons, but mainly just for the technical aspects in terms of like what it inspired down the line. Maybe not so much storytelling, really.
Yeah, I mean, that's kind of the case with it. Nico, did you go already, or?
I mean, I basically said. I mean, I guess like further is like it's still a fine movie. It gets a while to get going, but the good stuff is definitely good.
Yeah, I think that's something that really is this film is really a product of its time in a lot of ways, and I think that is both a good and bad thing. Because obviously films like this tended to be generally shorter, and mostly tried to provide like thrills and stuff like that. And I'd say the film is definitely understanding of that. I'm with you. See, I agree that like after the monster's first rampage, the film really speeds up. But like the build up to the creature arriving in New York, the way the creature is presented and the way that the people react to it and to Nesbitt's sightings of it, I think that is a really solid setup and narrative piece that that provides that fitting tension in a way like when the creature finally rises, we've been warned of what exactly it is. We've seen it in action, but now the fact that it's here, that's a really strong oh shit moment.
Yeah, you get like some decent sprinklings of Rhedosaurus action like before it gets to the city, like with the lighthouse scene, isn't one example. That's quite striking.
Yeah. And I mean that's the scene that's almost directly taken from the book. But
this is a book?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it was a short story.
It was a short story.
The Foghorn. The short story by Ray Bradbury. So I think especially the standout to me, aside from the lighthouse, was the scene where where the Rhedosaurus eats the professor. Just the oh shit moment of oh god it's coming closer, oh god it's coming closer, oh god it's coming closer,
and then he's like
no, they don't even scream.
No, that's even more disturbing. Like they just cut right before the thing gets attacked. Like you're pretty much almost in the perspective of the people on the boat. Like there's you hear the professor and then silence. Like that's even more disturbing.
Yeah, they don't. That's definitely something that absolutely struck a chord with me.
Yeah,
and
also,
hell, even just the opening.
I just want to say that I love that little nod that they use actual real life animals to convey the fact of how gigantic Rhedosaurus is. Like the scene where the octopus and the shark were fighting, and then out of nowhere, Rhedosaurus comes and eats both of them.
Yeah, I mean, I will admit, like when they first just showed the octopus and shark, sort of fighting, I was kind of a bit confused about like why we were kind of like seeing it, but then the Rhedosaurus pops up. It's like, oh, okay, all right, gotcha. Like it did, like it just. So yeah, it like the fact that the Rhedosaurus like shows up just for the retroactor made me go, oh,
Yeah.
okay. So it's kind of like a way of saying like you have like these two essentially adversarial sea creatures like duking it out, but their conflict is like so small compared to
Yeah.
something like as like a prehistoric beast.
Yeah.
To quote
Hell-
the Phantom Menace, there's always a bigger fish.
There's always a big fish.
Yeah. Hell, even like on that notion, I think this film has a really strong sense of scale. Like the Rhedosaurus itself, for as simple as its design is portrayed as incredibly imposing,
Yeah.
especially in the background. Like when you're seeing it around the roller coaster during the finale, the lighthouse sequence when it's silhouetted needs really nothing to explain it. It just the idea of like it's a small creature. How big is it?
Probably 3 meters.
It's not even. Yeah, it's not even like any more.
It's around 60 meters. It's around 12 meters tall. And
Yeah,
60
like it
meters
doesn't even
long.
tower like the smallest buildings in Manhattan.
Yeah, no, it's not even.
It's
It's not
3
even
meters
that-
shorter than Aaron's Titan form.
Yeah, it's not even that. Like, it's not even that big, and yet the film does a really strong job at making it look huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It makes me want to see if the Rhedosaurus could beat if the Rhedosaurus can fight Kong.
I'm thinking Rhedosaurus is taking that. There was another matchup that I had back when I was more active in the versus community, and it's still one of my most wanted. Rhedosaurus versus Paleosaurus from the Giant Behemoth. I find that one to be more interesting, just because like two dinosaurs going at it. I also personally find King Kong versus Ymir from 20 Million Miles to Earth to be more interesting, but that's a topic for another day.
Question,
Anyways.
I was just gonna say.
Skibada. I am now on your screen.
Yay!
Dallas Cadoodles and Bill is now here.
Diddle your noodle.
No!
So, as I was saying to Minecraft World, does the sauropod from the Lost World, like not the Lost World from Jurassic Park, but the OG Lost World, does he have a name or else?
I don't know.
I think it's just a Brontosaurus. Jinx.
Anyways, how you doing, Zim?
I'm still alive, thankfully, somehow, some way, some shape, some form, and that's what matters.
Yeah, you gotta live for
Yay.
Space Godzilla.
I know. Oh, the coping and the seething. I love it. I love it so much.
I am honestly like I'm just curious at this point. How are you gonna do this?
I really hope his
Yeah.
design is so cool.
They gotta make him cool.
It's a
coolness
prerequisite
what keeps
for
him
Space
alive.
Godzilla. Like you have to have Space Godzilla. He needs to be cool. Simple as.
Exactly.
He needs to have his shoulder pads.
The football shoulder pads.
That's what makes him so good to me.
Yeah, no, literally. But of course, we are talking about the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and
Oh yeah,
I'd
what are your
say-
inputs?
it is a very good movie. I'd say, based on its time, I'd probably put it at like, me being generous, I'd probably put it at like a 4 or 3.5 out of 5. I'd say. I think that it does a whole lot of things really well. It sets up a lot of tropes that you see in other monster films, both domestic and foreign, hints at Nudge Nudge, Godzilla, and all of that. I do think, however, there are certain elements of the story that do come out of left field. I think Sea Monster talks about it. I'm not sure. Do we want to get into spoilers or no?
I mean, it's over a 50.
We've already started talking about like the Rhedosaurus' scale stuff and like.
We already
Okay.
talked about that the professor dies like over halfway.
All right, yeah, fair enough.
So
Like-
spoiler was a fair game.
Yeah, I think that overall the pathogen plotline is definitely a product of its time due to the fact that in a lot of cases when it came to sci-fi films or fantasy stories, they would introduce a sort of like out of left field element for your heroes to deal with,
Yeah.
and as a result they have to like adjust on the fly to combat whatever it is that they're dealing with at that current moment. And I feel in the case of the Rhedosaurus, because, and this is probably hindsight talking, since with the Paleosaurus, you have it emitting radiation, and then the beast from 20,000 Fathoms is freed because of a nuclear bomb. Had it been like a radioactive elements rather than the pathogen, I think that would have been thematically stronger. I also think that
Yeah.
the Rhedosaurus or like the beast from 20,000 Fathoms wasn't trying to be a commentary on nuclear weapons in the same way that King Kong wasn't trying to thematically talk about something greater. I think that they were both spectacle films, and Harryhausen, being a student of Willis O'Brien, took a lot of that to heart. And I'd also say too that the Foghorn, the original story, has a more characterizing element for its monster because of the central storyline is revolving around the horn making noises similar to the dinosaur itself, and that's why it's drawn to it. So there's more characterization there in the short story compared to what's in the movie, which I think could have been added or would have been nice to add. But I'd be curious to see if had they done that, would people have compared it too much to King Kong? Because there is that like lonely element that is fair to pull from both stories, but I'm not sure how that would have played over with audiences, seeing the fact that like empathizing or sympathizing with like creatures like the Rhedosaurus or dinosaurs in general wasn't as common then as it is now.
Mhm.
Yeah, like it was easier to sympathize with Mighty Joe Young from his previous work than versus the Rhedosaurus.
Exactly. And given the fact that Joe's also like far smaller by comparison, so it's a lot easier to empathize with a slightly big monkey versus a very, very big lizard. And for anyone curious, I just put in the chat, and I'll put it in when the live stream ends. I'll also it's a link to a copy of the Foghorn for anyone who does want to read it. And if you do want to buy it, I know I have a copy in my hands right now. It was Golden Apples of the Sun. They published A Sound of Thunder and Other Stories by Ray Bradbury, and the Foghorn is one of those stories that's in there.
Yeah,
Well,
I
yeah,
listened
forgetting The Sound
to
of Thunder was
I
the-
listened to an audio reading of it on YouTube. So if audiobooks are your thing, YouTube has plenty of them there.
Mm-hmm.
So
I remember having to read like Sound of Thunder like back in school. It was neat.
The fact that you got to read Sound of Thunder in school makes me exceptionally envious.
Well, I also
The
got
only
to
thing I
read The Most
read
Dangerous
when I
Game in
was in
school
high
too.
school was anything from literature like William Shakespeare and nothing to do with like kaiju or stuff.
Mm.
Back
Yeah.
in my high school days, in English, actually in my freshman year, we did like the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
oh Lord.
We didn't really read the books, but we did we watched the movies. They're based on the books anyway.
Hey, it's still an insane amount of tedium. Jesus Christ.
Well, there's a lot of differences between them.
That would
Well,
have been a lot more interesting than reading about like Romeo and Juliet or Oedipus Rex.
you know what?
Yeah.
That was also Romeo and Juliet was also that something.
Yeah, I also had that.
See, for me,
Yeah.
with the romance stuff, it was Pride and Prejudice, which I actually really enjoyed.
Not Pride and Prejudice and Zombies.
I remember
I was gonna make that joke.
We actually talked about that book for a bit.
And
I might
here I
check it out
thought-
myself because it looks neat, even if I'm not a particular fan
I haven't
of
read the
zombies.
book, but I do love the movie. The movie is really fun.
And here I thought you were gonna talk about Abraham Lincoln, the Vampire Hunter.
We need to talk about that movie some other time.
Yeah,
Oh god.
that's definitely a sea monster stream type of beat.
Yeah.
You know, it's funny.
That's
Like,
what-
I wasn't even crazy about the movie when I first watched it. Now you just suggested I should do a stream on it at some point.
It was a fun movie.
But first,
I need to watch-
Spider-Man, we
I
can
need to
fight
finish
against
it.
vampires. What
we
more
need
do
to
you
talk
need?
about I Frankenstein.
Oh god. Oh god.
Yes.
Hey. Also, hi,
Mhm.
Kairu. But yeah, back to the beast.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Back
film
to
has
the
a
beast.
really good sense of scale. This is like the creature's small, but it
Mhm.
Jesus.
I did share on my screen sharing the original Saturday Evening Post illustration
Oh.
of the
Oh.
Beast before
didn't
it like
notice
became
this.
the Regisaurus proper.
Yeah.
Ooh,
That.
I think I remember seeing this
Nice.
floating around.
Yeah, I would believe that this helped influence the design in some way.
Yeah,
I
well,
would
the
fully
interesting
believe
thing
it.
is that you have this design here that's from the Saturday Evening Post, and then you have these sort of sketches becoming what the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms is closer to. What's interesting to note here is that he has ears. I find
I
that
was
to be
about
such
to
interesting
point out
detail.
the
The
ears.
brows,
So
it's
it's like an Easter dragon.
But then like there's this design that was like an early concept for the Beast from
That
20,000
is-
Fathoms, and then you have this one as well.
That looks like the Distortus Rex, actually. That design.
Yeah, especially that. Like, it's very interesting how you have these two designs being thought up for the Beast. You have this design and then the original post illustration, and how very different all four of them are.
Yeah. And then you compare that to the final film, and it's just, jeez.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, like the final film version doesn't, look a whole heck of a lot different from what we got here, or at least like that and the second one. So it's like an amalgamation.
I remember speaking, and I remember on the concept of the designs. I remember when you were doing the rant on Vic's Same Face Syndrome stream. I brought up the fact that the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms has a little bit of elements of like the Crystal Palace design structures. It has a similar stance to that of like the Megalosaur or similar creatures like it. Whereas Godzilla was more of like a modern day take. Looking at the concept design, that is even more interesting.
Yeah, because I think this is an interesting rabbit hole to go down.
Down
So, like,
the hole.
Yeah, down the rabbit hole we go. Like, it is very interesting to note how, even like in comparison with like, let me see if right here, that's actually a better one there. You have, with this design, you have the extra, like the larger front limbs and then the back limbs, which are much closer to that of like actual lizards. And then by comparison, you have the Crystal Palace dinosaurs that have far more pillar-like structures to their legs.
The Megalosaur itself is explicitly more bear-like in structure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like I'd say like closer, I would say the Rhinoceros' legs are closer to like the Hylaeosaurus or the Iguanodons in terms of how the legs are structured.
Yeah. And
I also think too that like having it be a quadrupedal dinosaur and like it's still explicitly being a dinosaur helps with this film, because for audiences who are watching this film with the hindsight of all this years of dinosaur research, it's quaint in the sense of you were dealing with a completely fictional dinosaur. You could do everything you wanted with it, and we're able to draw to these comparisons that it kind of looks like the Crystal Palace dinosaurs, when that may not have actually been the intention in the first place.
Yeah, no, either way, it's a reminiscent. It's an interesting look. Also, the fact that it's carnivorous helps distinguish it from other dinosaurs of the time.
Yeah, you have like the movement philosophy where like it's dragging its tail on the ground, all the time. So
yeah,
he's just a funky little
quadrupedal
boy.
dinosaur. Quadrupedal dinosaurs were very heavily associated as herbivores at the time, at least from what I could gather. Hell, even then, a lot of people still associate them as that. So
Which I
seeing
find them
this,
pretty boring in my opinion, because I don't know, I'm not really a biggest fan of the vintage era dinosaurs because of the fact that they all were associated as carnivores, and the fact that they all had been seen as very cold-blooded. I don't know, it kind of takes away the fact that these creatures were pretty majestic, but also they were still animals,
I
you know.
I'd say that's kind of incorrect because the Leaping Laelaps predates like Godzilla Night predates the Beast in 20,000 Fathoms, as does a lot of Knight's other work. And I think that a lot of people assume that scientists thought this because of newer advancements, like pushing further this idea that dinosaurs were these active creatures when they were always shown to be active. Like the Ghost from Slumber Mountain, as well as The Lost World,
yeah.
depict dynamic theropods as well as aggressive herbivores. Like there is this
Well,
idea that like
hell,
some people
like,
will talk
Hell,
about.
Fantasia did the same thing in an
Yeah,
animated
Fantasia
form.
does the same thing. Or like the idea that, oh, all of these animals are just pure like herbivores are just pure carnivore fodder. When if you look at just The Lost World, the Brontosaurus is beating the T-Rex. The only reason why it loses that fight is because it falls off a cliff. The Triceratops, not the Triceratops, the Agathalamus kills the Allosaurus, and it only loses to the T-Rex after it already had one fight. The Triceratops fends off the Allosaurus before it gets killed by the Agathalamus, and the Trachodon puts up a fight with the Allosaurus before it ends up dying. And then there's things like the Lost Continent, where that's mostly all herbivore dinosaurs being the main antagonist of the story. Whereas people like to say that, oh, they never did that. They never showed herbivores as being anything other than like gentle giants. Like I think it's a lot of erroneous assumptions rather than actually looking at material from that time.
Yeah,
And
it's
also going back to the original King Kong, you had the Stegosaurus was literally trying to charge at our group, our hunting party. And then of course you had the Brontosaurus chasing that guy up a tree.
Mm-hmm. And then like
Yeah.
deleted
Which
things
would be-
like the Styracosaurus as well.
yeah, and Fantasia has probably one of the best choreographed dinosaur fights, period, where the Stegosaurus actively like using its capabilities to fend off against the Rex. If Kura were here, he'd do a better job of going into it, but like these creatures are still active. They're not slow, lumbering beasts. They're sure
Mhm.
some of them may be portrayed as idiotic, but they're not sleeping all the time.
Mhm.
And like, and so
Well, I think
seeing-
it's like I don't even think that that's something that was unique to dinosaurs. I think in certain cases people would associate it more with dinosaurs, but those weren't like scientists. Because I think that in a lot of cases, you try to outsmart dinosaurs the same way you outsmart any other animals, where you're exploiting their predator instincts and things of that nature, rather than dinosaurs themselves were specifically stupid.
Yeah, it's not. It really is just that kind of assumption. But
Mhm.
yeah, back to the Beast. And I think another thing that's here, you actually have on top of the design, there's interesting character traits that the creature does have. It actually shows some level of curiosity. It analyzes the situation around it, albeit it's more so frantic, if anything.
Mhm. Yeah. Like I can probably pull up some clips as well of the Rhedosaurus. Because like unlike it, for example, like a Godzilla where he's overtly like trudging through buildings and stuff, the Rhedosaurus really only goes through one building in
And
like
that's
his entire rampage.
And that's after it's attacked, and then it also starts tearing up the roller coaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he's basically like an animal. He's characterized really well as just like a prehistoric animal that was just displaced, in time.
It's in a world that has long since forgotten its existence.
Yeah, and he's just like, where the hell am I?
Yeah, this is what people say. This is what Max Allo was saying Godzilla was, by the way.
Yeah.
Which is bullshit. I mean, maybe to a certain degree, but even then, like Godzilla, especially primarily Godzilla is like, out for blood.
Mm-hmm.
But
at least in the 54 film.
It'd be easier to compare Rhedosaurus to the
question
Genesect from that one Pokemon movie. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. So my question of the resource, particularly how it's characterized, I'm gonna talk about the first time we see him, and that's the fact that it's in Arctic, or at least Antarctica. So my question is, if Resource is like the last of his kind, what's he even doing in Antarctica? Considering that most lizards, particularly reptiles, immediately die because of the cold environment. Shouldn't that
Well,
freeze?
Hoshi,
Against
here's the
hypothermia.
thing. First of all, I believe it was in the Arctic, and first of all, like the climate was like different. Like it was more than
climate
likely
was
because it was
very
like
different
back
back then.
then.
I think they
Yeah.
stated in the movie like a hypothetical of a prehistoric animal being frozen in ice and stayed there for a long time until it's thawed out.
Mm-hmm. Not to mention the fact that, like, just purely to apply some logic, an animal of that size is going to be producing so much heat naturally that it's going to need to go to cooler places in order to maintain its body temperature.
Yeah.
Nice.
As well as I
Yeah.
also pulled up some clips for you, Minecraft, if you want to share my screen again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely way better than saying like, "Oh, King Ghidorah should be well preserved. Seawater's cold, even though like Japan is like not that far away from the equator."
Mhm.
Like,
exactly.
Well, it's like, well, in that case, it's like it's one of those cases where, even if you're close to the equator, if you're going that deep, the pressure as well as it is, it's gonna be still pretty cold. My concern with that is, unlike the
still
Metasaurus
wouldn't
that's
be-
frozen,
yeah, the
King,
thing is, like, it would not. It
Ghidorah
still
would have been
wouldn't be.
predated on.
The thing is, it still wouldn't be cold enough to where Ghidorah could just be could be put in like suspended, and you could put something in suspended animation without worrying like for other outside creatures or bacteria.
Decay would
getting
be
to
the
the
big
body.
issue for Ghidorah.
Yeah, and it has to be like that for 200 or so years.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
But I want to show
before
this
I
clip
go-
right here. Like, that is such a beautiful shot right there.
Oh
It
yeah,
really is.
that is
Yeah.
a classic shot.
Mm-hmm.
You really get like the whole profile of the thing, even though his tail's
Yeah,
like.
God, I love that.
Monster in New York.
Where the balls on this man.
With a pistol. With a
And then
pistol.
what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do with that?
Well, it's also it's funny because like he just comes, he's like, I don't care, and
And the
it's
thing
almost like he's just
actually
walking around.
reacts.
He's like, yo, what? Why?
Like, what'd you do that for?
The thing actually reacts to him.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, I would, if someone was to ever remake this movie, I would, and if they like made it to a like modern setting, it'd be really cool to have a dynamic scene with like a bunch of SWAT officers with like shotguns and like ARs and stuff fighting this thing and like ducking in between cars.
Yeah.
But like this whole setup is like, it's cooler than I think a lot of people give it credit for, but they just
There's the funny.
There we go.
That's
Or, like,
what the
even right
Gremlins
here.
will watch at Gremlins 2.
or speaking of like curiosity, like you mentioned Minecraft, like this shot right here.
Yeah.
Where he
Yeah.
steps on the
Thinking
car.
animal.
It's like,
Get that.
Interesting. Yeah.
Get that shit out of here.
yeah, or this one right here.
Look at that.
He's
That
more
guy
into
looked. I
Toyota.
would say that
He's
guy
more
looked
into
a little
Toyota
too
cars.
calm for a guy who's like in his car being attacked by a big lizard. I don't know. Like he should have been looked way more panicked as he does. He looks more confused than anything.
I mean, like, that is like one of those he's like, yo, I'm literally seeing a dinosaur pick up my car. Yo, what is
It's a
going
dinosaur. Wow, it's coming
He
towards
tried.
us.
Rip to that brave man. He tried.
That officer is like the homeless guy in the opening credits for Justice League, where he has the
Mhm.
sign that says "I tried."
Yeah.
I tried.
Well, like this right here, like I love this shot right here where now you're seeing them all just start to go up against it.
Yeah,
Like
no,
little
I
details
think-
like that. That's just fun.
Like, just I don't know. Yeah, I'm with you. If this film ever got remade and in a modern setting, God, that would be really fun to watch.
And it looks like
It
again he's
is.
about
It
to
was
do that.
98.
go against it.
He's about
Mhm.
to do the thing where he goes through the building and it just leaves like a hole in the middle of it. I'm wondering if that. Now I'm wondering if 98 definitely had to have taken a cue from this film.
Well, I was gonna say because like you have him picking up the car, and the same thing happens in '98.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
didn't he pick up like a fish truck or whatever?
Yes.
Yeah, he did.
Or but like this is an interesting detail with its characterization because instead of like just rushing at them and eating them, he's like flailing his tail as more of like an intimidation display rather than
Yeah, he's trying to get him
actually
to
fighting.
back off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean the fact that he even arises from a fishing place over by the harbor.
Yeah.
That's also from '98. You know, so
Minus
Or
minus that old man fishing.
Mm-hmm.
well, yeah. That's supposed.
I mean, there's
yeah.
still people that witness him rise out of the sea. So
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Is that-
Yeah.
guys, I'm going to be leaving now.
okay.
Well, bye, Hoshi.
But okay,
Okay, dude.
but before I go, Michael, is it okay if I ask you something?
What's up?
This might be a dumb thing to ask you, but if you want to, could you like someday in the future, would you like to do a live stream on Dinotopia?
Maybe I need to watch it. At some point. So
I know Hoshi, if you haven't watched it, King of Candor, who's in the server, did a few videos and I think a live stream on Dinotopia as well.
I think
Oh,
about
okay.
reading the books. The only Dinotopia thing I remember is that one animated movie.
The one that was like a cartoon, or you talk about the one that was
Yeah,
like
the Ruby
live-
Sunstone.
Oh yeah.
The Ruby Sunstone.
Hey, Zim, can you at least send me a link to the guy so I can watch the video that you were talking about?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll be able to do that in a moment. I'll pull it up on my phone.
Yeah, he's a friend of Rooney's, so
Yeah.
and a pretty good writer at that. So
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, guys, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and thank you for helping me, and consider that this was a very happy day for me and my sister. I just want to say thank you guys, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day.
Have a good one.
Of course, man.
Take care,
Have
man.
a good one. And Merry Christmas.
yeah,
Merry Christmas.
Yay.
yeah. So yeah, we have that. We have those kinds of shots. By the way, switching gears real quick. The special effects need no introduction. Just come
Mhm.
on. This looks so good.
They're so goaded.
It definitely says something about Harryhausen's talent that he's pulling off shots like this. And it's like only recently had he come off of Mighty Joe Young and he was apprenticing under O'Brien, and then he's doing things like this that are matching him.
Yeah. And then later, I would argue, would surpass him with stuff like the Sinbad films and the skeletons and things like that. Holy shit.
I think it's like one of those cases where I do wonder if O'Brien had been born, like if the roles had been reversed, could O'Brien have done what Harryhausen had done, given that he would have been able to have been introduced to those kinds of technologies?
Yeah,
It's
considering
very
what he
possible.
did, considering the two were about equal in terms of like effects quality with Mighty Joe Young, I could see him pulling it off.
Mm-hmm.
And also
It's
to quote
style-wise-
sorry.
Style-wise, it'd definitely be different. Like
Mm-hmm.
it would absolutely be different. Comparing something like this to the Lost World, O'Brien definitely had his own way of animating dinosaurs. So it would definitely Rhedosaurus would definitely move differently, even if the design stayed the same. But
Well, I also think too that comparison to the Lost World or even the King Kong models, I'd say the Rhedosaurus model and then the models that end up preceding it are like leaps and bounds more sophisticated in some ways. I would say, like, for example, I'm not sure if the Rhedosaurus has this similar. I want to see if I can maybe find a shot that you might be able to see. Oh no, I think it is the case. Let me just pull back. It might just be due to the fact what I'm specifically trying to point out is like this shot right here. It kind of looks like there's a little bit of his stomach kind of pumping in and out because there's the whole thing with the Lost World dinosaurs having footballs in like their stomach area, which allowed them to sort of inflate their chest so it looked like they were breathing. And I don't think that was something that was included on that model. I do know that like when it comes to Sinbad, the dragon from Sinbad, ended up being that was just the Rhedosaurus model.
Yeah, just or at least the rig modified.
The rig.
But-
And like interestingly enough, this is an earlier version of the model, and you
he
can
has
see
the ear.
Yeah, he's got more of the ears. That's like also the snout's a lot shorter.
yeah, I'm very surprised that they got rid of the ears because like I actually really like the look with ears. I think it'd be pretty cool.
And he'd be more of a missing link for Godzilla.
Yeah, well, that'd be like another detail. Be like another thing that the Godzilla stole from the beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
I have yet to see anyone say that Japan was in the wrong for stealing the beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
And if they are, they're stupid.
I've never seen any compelling arguments for it. Yeah.
I would like to see like what a fight would look like between the Rhedosaurus and pre-irradiated Odo Island Goji from -1.
They're about the same
They're like in a
size,
similar
so-
size class.
Well, what I was gonna say was, there's a few other
Concept pieces.
early concept pieces I wanted to highlight, but interestingly enough, of the Rhedosaurus fighting another dinosaur. Oh, do they not show it here? Oh, that's unfortunate.
No,
Because
Planet of
remember,
Dinosaurs.
Planet of Dinosaurs. Yeah, that's what I wanted to show. I'll just
Yeah,
have
let
to.
me see if
I was
can
also
find
gonna
it.
mention, like, I remember Monster Island Buddies like did like a review on like this like one Superman cartoon that said like
The Arctic Giant, which
yes,
I'm doing a video on right now.
Yay! How far are you on that one?
The entire video is the voice lines have all been done. I just need to start editing it, and then there's a short story that I'm gonna do along with it that I haven't finished.
Cool. Are you gonna be the one editing it, or is someone else?
I think I'm gonna edit it just because it was more my personal project. So
okay,
yeah,
that makes sense. But yeah,
And also, look, Minecraft is your other favorite dinosaur movie that you're doing a project on.
and one of my favorite Rex designs. Like that is such
Yeah.
a cool design. That is so cool.
Is a very cool T-Rex.
Yeah. Oh god. Yeah.
But yeah, like
that-
going to this design here, this is very more almost Gorgo inspired, especially because
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if that's supposed to be the ears rather than horns, I could definitely see how Eugene Laurier decided after the giant behemoth to do another one, but they
The
designed
hands-
closer to this.
the hands
It's kind of funny you
remind me.
mentioned that, considering the director would go on to make Gorgo.
Yeah.
Mhm. Well, no,
The
he
hands-
he did
the
all of
hands
them.
The hands remind me a lot of the Kraken, the original version of the Kraken. From
Oh,
Clash of
okay, with
Titans.
the scales and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
Let
Yeah.
loose the Kraken.
And then this design, which is very very lizard inspired, with like some like Protoceratops or like Microceratus inspired details to it, with the frill here and the tiny little horn and beak.
Kind of makes him look like an iguana.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now this definitely feels very much like Voyage of Sinbad, Kraken inspired, especially in the face area there.
I would say
Yeah,
it kind of
that
looks
is-
a bit. He kind of looks Muppet-esque in these drawings.
Yeah,
I think it's the
no,
eye. It's the eyes.
It's the
Yeah,
eyes.
that's kind of
The
why.
eyes make me think of Ghidorah, the three-headed monster Rodans.
He looks like something out of Dark Crystal, actually.
Yes. Yes. it
Yeah.
does.
Yes!
And you got the
Eventually
beak
talk
and
about Dark
everything.
Crystal.
It looks-
It's an underrated classic.
Dark Crystal mention. Whoa!
Hmm.
But yeah, it just I think having that sort of fantastical element, I think it'd be a little bit jarring, especially for 1950s audiences, because like this was before sword and sandal stuff really took off.
Hmm. Well, no, I would have actually. It's more that this is before Sword and Sandal stuff made its way to the silver screen, because the Rhedosaurus, like in American, I guess because it's sci-fi, but like speculative fiction media, sits
Yeah.
between the eras of Sword and Sandal movies, but it comes after Sword and Sorcery as a genre was already kind of pretty popular in the pulps.
Oh
Because
yeah.
like from the 20s and the 30s is where you have Lovecraft and Howard, with Howard doing like Conan the Barbarian and
right.
stuff.
Right.
and Speaking
I
of that, I specifically want to mention Conan because Red Nails Dragon, yeah. Because like essentially the dragon that appears in Red Nails is essentially like a proto-Rhedosaurus with how it's described. A lot of like
Yeah.
modern depictions of it don't do it as much justice, but
Yeah.
like
Though
it is.
I notice in that sculpture it has the same colors as the Sinbad dragon.
Yes, exactly. I want to see. There's one person I know on DeviantArt who had done a piece. I want to see if it's coming up. Maybe it might just getting suppressed because it's been so long.
Maybe try to look at fan art, Red Nails Dragon fan art, maybe.
This one's one of them right here. It was this guy's art right here. Like that is it. Very much feels like a early Rhedosaurus if you read Red Nails, which is also in the public domain and you guys can read almost anywhere.
Oh fuck yes!
Also, it's free game
find
to
it.
make an adaptation for.
Technically yes, technically no. Red Nails is in the public domain. Conan as a character is still under copyright protection because of the Robert E. Howard Foundation, which is good in some ways.
Oh.
It does make things a little harder to get a hold of.
Also, it's like a Kong. It's like a
When
Kong thing.
It's kind of like a Kong thing, yeah.
when is Conan going to be public domain?
Well, his stories have been in the public domain. The name, I think that because like as long as they keep up that trademark, he's probably never entering the public domain because he's such an iconic character. But you can have stories with him included, and I think it's like the main thing is you don't really want to say his name. That's kind of where like what is the issue, because I know there was a comic that was adapting a lot of the early Conan stories. I think they hadn't done Red Nails, but I know they'd done The Frost Giant's Daughter, Tower of the Elephant, and I believe The Phoenix on the Sword. And what it was a French company that did it, and then when they were doing it in America, the licensing and rights got in the way, so they published it as the Cimmerian instead of calling it Conan the Barbarian. And it's like the same thing with Kong, where like a lot of different like rights holders own like different aesthetics and things to that. So which is why like if you see Conan material that has like the sword from the movie as like part of its marketing or like on its design work, it's because they got access to use that iconography, whereas in other cases you don't see it.
No, it's not Conan the Barbarian. It's Conan the O'Briener. Yeah, that's yes, the O'Briener. Yeah.
You see, Monster. I have a question for you.
What?
How them Bills doing?
How the Bills doing?
How them Bills doing?
I'm doing fine with the Bills, actually. Oh wait,
You sure about that? Are you sure about that?
Wait, hold on. You mean like the football team?
Yeah. How them Bills doing?
Well,
How's
Josh Allen has an heir to his throne, so I think he's doing pretty. I think we're doing pretty good, actually.
I say this even though the Patriots lost yesterday, but it is what it is.
Good lord. But yeah. I need to get into Conan.
Yeah,
I really need to.
I know that 80s one with Arnold Schwarzenegger is supposed to be really good.
The first one that he's in is very good. The other ones are like very campy, unfortunately, and it was due to the fact that they wanted to make it more kid friendly compared to the original that Milius did, and that's why he didn't direct the other ones. So
yeah, and then it was like that 2011 one with Aquaman.
The thing about that one is, in some ways, it is very faithful, but in other ways, it's not. Like I like a lot of what they do in that story, but I just think some of the acting, some of those choices, aesthetically, just didn't fit as much. And I believe like they tried to pull a little too much from the original movie, and then injected it with more of the stuff that we know about the act, like Conan from his literary counterpart. So it's like it's an interesting melding of the two, and I like it for what it is, but it's never gonna top like Arnold stuff or like even some of the games, the books themselves. But
Conan is games? Actually, wait.
Huh?
I shouldn't be surprised. Never mind.
Conan's what?
Actually, yeah, I think I heard
Conan has video games? Really?
Yeah.
Well, of course, there's
Conan Exiles.
video games. It'd be weird if there wasn't video games.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm stupid. I'm stupid. I shouldn't be surprised, but I am.
Yeah, Conan Exiles. That's still like a very big game that's going on right now. Then there was Age of Conan.
Okay.
Was it like a Conan game that like James and Mike from Cinemassacre like didn't do like they didn't do an AVGN episode on it. They just kind of like did like some
James
like,
and Mike play.
I think it was this one. This one from 2007.
No, I think it's an older game.
An older one.
Yeah.
But yeah, Conan's had a lot of video games.
Yeah, I shouldn't be surprised. It's pretty much under similar circumstances to King Kong. So like,
it might not be a Conan game actually. I don't know, but it could maybe. I have to recall.
And of course, he was recently in MK1, which was fun to see.
Oh, really? That
Yeah.
I didn't know until now.
Yeah, kind of off topic, but I know that Mike Matei posted like a video about his like old school like cartoon collection DVDs the other day, and so I thought it was fairly interesting, even though like he has some writer like, ooh, like they don't make cartoons like this today. Like kids are not watching Roblox and blah blah blah.
Skibbity toilet.
Yeah, I think they were covering it. They did a video on a Conan game about that was like on the Atari Jaguar, I believe, because I think I remember a comment like when Mike said at the very end, it's like now I know why you took a shit on it because the AVGN does something like that to the Atari Jaguar because there's like the CD component where it makes it look like a toilet.
Oh, yeah. The end. I gotta take a shit.
Anyways, back to the Rhedosaurus.
Yes.
But yeah, that definitely that makes a lot more sense. I mean, I also mentioned earlier that this one was kind of partially the reason, I think, to like why the Atomic Age monsters took off. Because like this was successful, then Gojira happened, then 1955 was a year. Oh right, Them was also a thing. And like those monster movies started like taking off, especially with also Universal Monsters becoming more popular.
Ironically, when like the Creature from the Black Lagoon its sequels were the last of the Universal Monsters.
Yeah, like when Rhedosaurus came out, well, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms like came out. That was like at the tail end of near the very end of the Universal classic monster cycle.
Yeah.
But they would make up a bunch of other movies like Tarantula, Monolith Monsters, and all those stuff.
Yeah. And
I still need
the
to
Deadly
watch
Mantis.
Oh god, the Deadly Mantis.
I saw that. That was fun. I saw that at G-Fest actually.
That one was. Wait, really?
So
I
like
really need to watch that.
what G-Fest used to do, and I'm not knocking current G-Fest. Like I love the fact that we get to see so many Japanese monster films, but what they used to do was on Thursdays, they'd show at least 2 or 3 American monster movies, and then they would show a Japanese monster movie, and then the remaining 2 movies in the weekend would be like Godzilla movies. So I remember I got to see the Valley of Gwanji as a in the theaters there, the Deadly Mantis. Like it was fun. Like I loved that I got to see those films as well on top of Godzilla films I hadn't seen before.
That must have been that sounds like a treat. Good lord. I can only imagine watching this at G-Fest.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
That would be really fun.
I wish I could go to G-Fest one of these days.
One of these days you will.
Once I get an actual job.
Yeah.
Oh god, the pain. But yeah, Deadly Mantis was an interesting watch. I'm probably gonna give it a watch through again, but like that was a fun watch. That was a very interesting movie. Recently, It Came From Beneath the Sea was one that we watched, and pain.
It was a struggle.
Like the opening was really good, and then the film just nosedived. Holy hell!
The actors were boring, even though the main
why is there so much filler? This is an hour and 19 minutes. Why are you being so slow?
I was gonna say, is Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus a better Giant Octopus movie than It Came From Beneath the Sea?
Thing is, I haven't seen Mega Shark versus Giant Octopus since I was a kid. I don't remember that movie all that well.
What's
I'll
funny
put it-
about
I'll
that
say it right
is
Oh, you go.
oh no, I was gonna say the funny thing is that I own it on DVD because it came with my copy of Godzilla vs. Biollante, like the Miramax one,
yeah.
which
Oh
now
my
goes for like
God.
hundreds of dollars now.
Oh my God. That's
So you get a
perfect.
really good movie with Godzilla versus Biollante, then you get a shitty movie with.
Well, no, it comes with like another one called Monster too. I haven't watched that one in a bit, but I remember I really enjoyed Mega Shark vs. Giant Octopus for what it was. And like I would say, like out of all of the Mega Shark movies, that one definitely felt like the most sincere out of like all the ones that they did.
Yeah.
I'll give you
I
guys a
think
real mic drop on what's a better octopus movie than It Came From Beneath the Sea. Dead Man's Chest.
I was gonna say, like, is it real? Like, it's not the Kraken's not really a focus, but if we were to include it, yeah, I would definitely say so.
yeah, without a question.
Mhm.
But yeah, like shit. Yeah, no, It Came From Beneath the Sea was a trip. Also, for me, the Mega Shark films, the one that I have the most nostalgia for is Mega Shark versus Mecha Shark. It's like
That one, I don't think I've really like seen all the way through. I've seen clips of it.
that one was a trip as a kid. I watched through it. I thought it was. I remember asking, "What the fuck happened?" I watched it again the next day, and I was still like, "What the fuck happened? Why am I enjoying myself?" And then the third time, I was just like, "Fuck it, I'm enjoying myself."
We should do a watch party of the Mega Shark movies.
Oh god, that'd be fun. When it comes to stupid animal monster movies, cocaine bear solos. Oh boy, there is a rabbit hole of these things. Jesus. Oh Jesus.
What?
Yeah. Circling back to the topic at hand. Yeah, no, I think when it comes to the Rhedosaurus itself, I think this is a pretty strong creature in its own right, despite its simplicity. Also, yeah, I think that's something that this film holds really well, simple but effective, even if it doesn't go to the same lengths as something like G2K does, if that makes sense.
Yeah, like
Wait,
there was
say that again. Sorry, I didn't catch all of that.
This film, one thing that I think this film does really well is just being simple but effective, much like the title Creature. It's, while it isn't as strong as something like, say, G2K, I'd still say it's like, it handles itself pretty strongly for a monster film of the time. Yeah. And
Like, I think the film just does everything you'd expect it to do just fine. I would say that my main issue comes down to the fact that the pathogen comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And
that was something
Like-
that Steve alluded to earlier. It's like,
it is smart because once we realize that the monster can be killed with regular munitions, adding the pathogen takes away that element, because if they were to kill the monster just with just regular arms, then the pathogen spreads, kills people that way.
Yeah.
That's my issue. Like that, I mean, not my issue. I think that's fine. But then the issue arises is that it comes so far out of left field. Does it make sense that there would be a pathogen? Sure.
Yeah.
But you could do it more organically, and that's why I alluded to earlier that making changing the pathogen to something more radioactive directly in origin, like what they do with the Paleosaurus in the giant behemoth, would just work better.
Yeah,
I
I
was
think
just
that's
about to say, but
I
Giant Behemoth just does the concept better, like with the pathogen. The fact that, well, for one, it also directly connects it to the monster, and it's like, because like that is the reason why the Paleosaurus is dying, and with it dying, it poses just as much of a threat because its body breaking down spreads more of this radiation.
Yeah. What I would like to add is, like, considering that this is a creature from a prehistoric era, like, who would even know like what kind of like bacteria would have existed back in the day that definitely would have like gotten humans like death or other organic life forms from later down the timeline, like deathly sick, essentially. That could actually be akin to a plague almost. But yeah, like if they like, I think a good script doctor could have like made it to where the pathogen was set up, had the pathogen like set up earlier, like sort of hints at like people just sort of dying like after, like maybe like the guy who was like on the boat who survived it, like he just died like a couple of like some like shortly
a couple
after.
days later, yeah,
a couple days later, like set that up, and like sort of tie in like the nuclear test that woke up the Rhedosaur, that broke the Rhedosaurus out of the ice and woke it up anyways. That made it to where the pathogen was like sort of mutated by the radiation, so that way it would just like kill. It's like killing people like quick, like within such a short amount of time. I like that would have really helped. It really would have added this to like what it does here. Like it's like reasonable, like in terms of like it's not like it breaks the film necessarily, but it's like it doesn't really have much in the way of setup at all. Like I definitely think someone could have come in and just sort of reworked this a bit so that it would just fit a lot more snugly in the whole narrative.
Yeah. Yeah, it just was like, yeah, no, again, Paleosaurus just kind of did it better. Hell, I would argue Gojira did it better.
Yeah, like I think that in a lot of ways Godzilla does a lot of what the Beast from 20,000 does better, but I think that's due to the fact that there was just more focus on the thematic elements of like Godzilla compared to the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and as a result, that's why it does those things better.
Yeah, 54 kind of like focused on like telling like a really good story with a really strong thematic through line, along with giving us the grand spectacle of a big prehistoric monster attacking a city, like giving it like some kind of sort of like extra meaning to it. Whereas with Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, yeah, it's kind of a spectacle piece and not much more to that. I mean, it does a good job at it. I will say that, and it's functional, in terms of storytelling. But it really isn't. But yeah, that's kind of all it really is. Like it's just functional. Like it does a fair job still.
Yeah. And now that you mentioned the whole thematic angle, Zim, one thing that I find really interesting is the fact that this one did the whole nuclear stuff before Gojira.
Well, I think that like even at like I think people take for granted the fact that since America was never like nuclear, like we never experienced like bombs being dropped on us, that there wouldn't be people who would have a fear of nuclear devastation as a result. But then we'll also talk about like, oh yeah, there was a whole duck and cover thing for schools. Like nuclear devastation was still on the minds of the American people, especially as we get into the 50s and we know that the Soviets have access to nuclear weapons as well. And like I think all sci-fi films and sci-fi material, people will take emerging technologies of the time and either use them to like write stories about like utopian societies built on that technology, or the dangers and horrors that can result from that technology. And the Rhedosaurus, Godzilla, and things like it are spotting out of what dangers can erupt from this new technology rather than what are the utopian dreams that we can aspire to with it.
Yeah, especially considering this was a technology that ended a war. So, and ended a war in a devastating manner. Like, this was, I believe, the year after the American occupation ended. So people were actually allowed to talk about it and the damage was, and especially considering like the rise of television and the rise of like news networks and things like that, people were actually seeing what the damage was. And that only got more prominent as time continued. And again, and also worth to point out, this was the same year as the War of the Worlds adaptation, which had a very similar portrayal. If anything, it was more overt in its portrayal.
Yeah, we need to talk about
So-
the War of the Worlds adaptation someday.
I tried to talk about War of the Worlds as a story, but nobody showed up.
I'm sorry.
Hmm. I guess you could say that was your War of the World. Or War with the World.
It's
God.
you.
It was you,
My
man!
own son is hacking the government.
God.
How could you, man?
How could you?
My own son is hacking the government.
You should have deleted my Steam, Dad.
Risked all my lives just to spy on people's Amazon carts.
No, you know
God.
how like it's all done with like AI and like they're over like online and stuff, and it's Ice Cube. I'm just imagining that scene, but like he puts a filter over himself, so it's just like his mouth and his eyes, and he's just an ice cube. It's like
I'm not entirely convinced that movie didn't use AI at some.
That was
No,
2020,
I thought that was-
right?
I thought that was something that they directly state was that they did use AI.
Oh God. I probably believe it if the tripod
That
designs
makes
were
it
anything
even
to go by.
worse.
Because my God, they look generic.
that
And then they
makes
just
me-
destroyed the purpose of them being tripods later in the film, anyways. So
Oh God, that movie is a whole other can of worms in its own right. One
we,
that
we
has
don't
been
need to
dissected over and over again.
we don't need to talk about that now.
Yes. I heard an idea that radiation angle in the movie was sort of an idea of what if Japan dropped a nuke on us during World War II. And while I'm not sure if that was intentional, it's interesting to think.
Is it possible? Sure, but I would love to see a source like of someone from the time
I'm
stating
sure.
that.
Where did you?
I honestly think like
Where
if the
did you
movie
hear that?
I honestly think like if the movie did like do more to sort of connect the tissue of like the nuclear test and like the ever expanding consequences of that by the Rhedosaurus going around doing its thing, like then maybe, but as it is, like it's kind of like it's not so much a stretch, but rather it's like there isn't really enough.
It's
there.
underdeveloped. If
It is
anything.
underdeveloped. Yeah, it's so
'Cause, like-
underdeveloped that
because like I said, because like I mentioned, Gojira did it. Gojira did it the year later, and then the Paleosaurus, which was under the same director, that did it as well 5 years after Gojira. So like
Yeah.
Mhm.
it's not difficult to pull it off, and
No.
maybe it's the inexperience of someone doing something like this, but like
Mhm.
monsters have primarily embodied primal fears before, so that's not hard. It really wouldn't be hard.
Yeah,
It
I
is
mean,
interesting because I do know that like even if Godzilla wasn't like breaking into the mainstream like it is now, people were still like had it on their minds. And directly to the idea of like what if Japan dropped a nuke on us, there is a weird war story from DC that had a dinosaur that was mutated by nuclear weapons under the control of the Japanese. I still don't have the actual comic itself. I've only read the synopsis, and I'd like to see if that's actually the case. But if it is, I mean, like that's true for like one story, but I don't think it's true necessarily for the Beast from 20,000 Fathoms.
Yeah, I'm curious if you find it, please send it. I'm curious to check it out myself.
Sorry about that. I had to take care of chores.
You're good.
yeah.
Jarvar is asking about the Space G leaks. I guess we can talk about that.
Can we put it? I kind of would like to talk about the maybe some of the human character stuff in Beast
Yeah,
Before
no,
Time
let's-
Battle before
Oh,
we get to
definitely.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're all on the same boat with these characters.
Yeah.
Like,
I do want to add that like I honestly think like the whole relationship between the main guy and the suddenly just sort of it's like I pretty much like a decent start of them to have a relationship, but then like again it's like a lot of my issues with the film kind of come up in the last 30 minutes. Like like then they just suddenly are just like, oh, I mean, are they a couple now? I guess.
yeah.
I think it's like one of those cases where it's more just natural chemistry between the two and like I guess physical attraction, and that's why they're a thing. But
Yeah.
I think that that's not necessarily sufficient for
No.
like a proper romance.
Yeah, I mean, like the characters at least the cast at least does a good job like portraying them, and they do have good chemistry. So
Yeah.
it's a little easier to. So it's not difficult to buy into it at least. So.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
unlike something like It Came From Beneath the Sea, where the romance quite literally comes out of nowhere.
It's like a 3-way romance, actually.
That was just why are
No,
you
I wanna
doing
keep-
this?
I want to keep this in mind, people. Like, I actually watched It Came From Beneath the Sea before Minecraft and Nico and
Yeah,
Kuru, I believe, did their watch together with that.
Yeah,
I've seen
Yeah,
it, so
Kuru
I wasn't
05
part of it
and
because I
09.
already seen the movie, and yeah, it's not good.
It's like, yeah, Kuru, Nico, 05 and I, we stuck together for that film, and oh god,
I'm just gonna say it. Not even making tentacle jokes saved it.
no, we dropped that like halfway through because it was just like there was no material to work on. But like, I'm gonna come right out and say it. That film is what everyone was saying G14 was. That
Yeah.
movie is everything people were saying G14 was. I love when 50s monster movie characters take something super seriously and then the monster is revealed to be the stupidest thing ever. Giant claw!
Yeah, giant claw.
It was right there, okay? Oh, God. I love how James Rolfe came to compare Kamada-kun to it. And he's not even wrong.
Yeah, he's not even wrong.
Not wrong.
Actually, I'm curious, Zim, do you have anything to say on It Came From Beneath the Sea?
I haven't seen it in years, so I'd have to like go back in and remember if it's as like maybe the reason why I don't remember it is because it was that much of a slog.
Yeah, probably.
Yes,
I believe
it's a
that.
slog.
Yeah, like I mean, like the octopus effects are pretty neat because obviously it's Ray Harryhausen.
That
but
is-
everything else about
like-
the movie is kind of
Like, the
it
octopus,
exists.
the
That's the-
octopus, the music is all right, and the opening sequence are really the only things that I could actively praise about it. Everything else is just like by the time the creature reaches San Francisco, it's too little, too late.
The octopus hard carried.
Ah. Yeah.
But,
So Space Godzilla basically confirmed. I am taking all of that with a grain of salt.
Well, what's it called? Someone did send me a link to that thing from the Writers Guild of America, and that's the actual official site. I'm just
that
like,
one was me. Like Rick posted it on his server, and then I posted it in the spoiler server. That's
oh,
like,
you posted it there. Someone sent it to me as a DM, so I didn't even see your link.
oh,
Yeah. So unless he's also in Rick's server, which I'm not sure if he is. I don't want to like dog people or people or whatever. It's their business. But like, the reason I don't take it as much of a grain of salt is like out of anything that like you could have put there, why that?
Yeah.
Like,
I'm just like-
curious.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked a lot about that, and I'm curious. I'm just cautious about how they're gonna handle him.
yeah.
they
'Cause,
better do my boy justice so that Rick can stop hating on my boy Space
like,
Godzilla.
character-wise, I think they're gonna. Character-wise, I mean, the Toho monsters are relatively consistently fine in terms of how their characters portrayed. Rodan and Mothra. I really like Titanus Ghidorah, and I found Mechagodzilla to be cromulent at worst. But with Space Godzilla, considering how Scar King was handled, oh boy,
The Slop King.
oh boy.
I don't. I think Scar King is fine. He served his purpose well.
Scar King's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, Scar King is an idiot, but we're supposed to take his menace seriously.
Yeah.
He's supposed to be cunning, yet his plans make no sense. Like, I maybe, like, I'll say this. If Space Godzilla has been planned as this antagonist from the beginning, my hope is that we'll actually get a storyline that will include him in a meaningful way, rather than, for example, Mothra, where even though Mothra was planned from the beginning, it was very clear that they weren't sure they were going to get her. So her whole like part of the story feels so reduced. Whereas with Space Godzilla as the antagonist, I'd expect them to have a story from the ground up, including him and him being important to the story.
I'd even argue that Mothra was sort of assassinated as a character in JXK.
Oh no, she definitely was.
Yeah,
She-
I mean, whereas with
without a
Space
question, she
Godzilla,
was.
with Space Godzilla, there's at least like if they are going to do Space Godzilla, and it's confirmed that they will do him. Like, there's at least like somewhat of a clean slate, so it's like there isn't as much of a so like maybe they could have them. I mean, who knows if they'll have something to make them work? Maybe they will. Maybe they won't.
Space Godzilla generally, even in outside material, has been relatively consistent character-wise. Like, you compare, like in Rulers of Earth, you have him being this kind of like hard-headed, sadistic little shit, who has to team up. Well, not even little, big shit. Who has to team up with Godzilla against the Trilopod, which, by the way, that's one of my favorite Space Godzilla scenes. Period.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm just like referring to is like how he's done in the MonsterVerse specifically, not so much like how he's been done in the general franchise.
Yeah, that's the. I mean, we have a different writer. We'll see how this happens. So.
Yeah, if Adam Wingard's not involved, maybe it'll be better. Maybe it'll be better. I don't know.
I'm just hoping it'll be cool. Like, no matter what happens,
I
it'll
still
be
need to watch I Am Mother. I keep putting that off. Honestly, I might do that as a watch party at some point. To be is just an absolute douchebag because that sounds hella funny to me. I mean, that is kind of what Space Godzilla
versus Space Godzilla, the IDW comic.
Yeah, in Godzilla Rivals, I think. Hell, I would argue he was like that in the original film. At least.
And yet Rick hates him somehow. And he likes Scarface.
That's I will not say it. I will not say it because I'm not
I like Rick, but come on.
Like, Rick, you're a fine guy, but holy fuck, draw the line somewhere, please.
Yeah. I mean, like, Space Godzilla's cool and all. It's just that, hopefully the movie around him would be better than his debut film. That's all I'm going to say.
I think his debut film is fine for what it is.
I need to rewatch his debut movie. It's been quite a while.
Like, despite having the longest fight, I think, in the franchise, it does drag. I love him as a character and design. I love like a lot of the concepts that are introduced with him.
Yeah, honestly, I struggled to watch Godzilla versus Space Godzilla.
I remember watching it. I remember when I watched it for the first time. I was watching it while some guests were over. My mom came in, saw little Godzilla, and said he looked like my younger brother. The one that you met at G-Fest, the one that I took at G-Fest.
That's pretty funny. That's pretty cool.
It was hilarious. But yeah, shows up, doesn't elaborate, kidnaps little Godzilla, leaves.
He doesn't even kidnap him. He just puts him in a little crystal box, essentially.
That's kidnapping.
That's still kidnapping.
Yeah, it's.
Oh.
By definition, that's still kidnapping.
Yeah, I mean, maybe
basically Raditz. He's basically Raditz, except Godzilla doesn't have no Piccolo to help him out.
Unless you want to count Mogera, which even then.
I guess Mogera could be Piccolo, but even then.
Mogera is like Piccolo, but except with no personality, because he really is just a robot. Piloted by
a part of me has always seen Mogera as female for some reason.
Is it because of Monster Island Buddies?
No. Even before Monster Island Buddies, looking at that design, it has a weird feminine
thick
look
thighs.
to me.
Thick thighs. There you go. I know that.
Thank you.
I've never saw Mogera as female, but the moment you said that, I'm like, I know exactly what he's probably thinking of.
Oh God.
No, it's not even the thick. It's not even the thick thighs. The drill face is what made me think of it.
So what do you think? Just women?
Why would the drill face make you think female?
See. She's just got a big schnoz. Sometimes you just need a paper bag. You know what I mean? Paper bag's all you need.
Oh,
I love how the Pipeworks games just make Space Godzilla Thanos for just no reason at all.
I mean, I don't have too much of a problem with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
like he literally causes the conflict in Unleash, so I could see that.
I think he was even like the main villain, or implied to be the antagonist in Save the Earth, considering the final cutscene. Because they kind of like devote that to him getting Space Godzilla getting sucked to a black hole, and that sort of solved everything.
Yeah. Any chance? Speaking of, any chance we might get Crystalak?
And
No.
Obsidian, please.
No.
You know, wait. Actually, if for somehow, some way, some shape, some form, they get Space Godzilla, but then like To's like, "Here's Crystalak," and Legendary's like, "How did you get this?" And it just like cuts the Pipeworks, just beaten up in like a back alley somewhere.
It's like they're like Joker in.
Yes.
No, wait, we already have Crystalak. Their name is Shimo now.
You want to know what's funny? Minecraft wanted like Orga to be in Supernova, but I'll bet you, like, how funny would it be if like we get Space Godzilla in Supernova, but like in terms of mechanics, he's also Orga. So it's just sort of like it's like, are we getting Space Godzilla or Orga? Yes.
Or Ramiel from Evangelion.
Fuck it, I'll take it. But like, it's like I had the idea of Crystalak being like a lackey to Space Godzilla. Like when in like my MonsterVerse story, if we ever continue the MonsterVerse pitch stuff, I'd rather go into like where I'd go. But like for my take on Space Godzilla, I had the idea of Crystalak being an army. Like there's a whole bunch of them, and it's sort of like a lackey to Space Godzilla, and also tying Space Godzilla to Orga, and then Orga eventually gets a redemption arc after becoming Obsidious. Yeah. But I don't know. We'll see where this goes. I know Joey is probably very excited to see his boy on screen, and I'm pretty sure Goji Fan 93 as well is.
Hey, I love Space Godzilla. I would have expected him to appear, but like I'm just drinking. I'm drinking the tears. I'm coating the steak I'm about to have tonight in the salt that has been mined today.
Good lord!
Yeah,
By the way, did you see what Rooney put in your server about Space Godzilla?
I've been typing out a response to it as we've been talking.
Oh, understandable. It's like I disagree with this notion somewhat.
Almost all the suppositions are flawed,
especially with Megaguirus. I think that viewpoint with Megaguirus is a little bit reductive, especially considering how Megaguirus is implemented.
So I've only responded to the design portion. I have not responded to.
Yeah.
I have not responded to the plot stuff yet.
Yeah.
The plot stuff, it would be harder for me to defend because
I have not yet watched. Why the fuck did you make Crystalak Conquest from Invincible?
It's okay. You can do this.
I don't know why. That was, if anything, I think I came up with that idea before Conquest even appeared in Invincible.
Wasn't the Invincible comic? Wasn't the Invincible comic?
No, but like in the show, like before he even showed up in the show.
Yeah, but the comic's been around for a while.
No, I'm just thinking of Tizumi Conquest. Stand ready for my arrival, worm. You were given orders. You were given time. I am Conquest.
Yeah.
I'm so lonely. Oh, the other adventure might just scare me.
Rudy, I'm so lonely.
So, Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, pretty neat film.
Yeah, it's a solid film. It's a solid film.
Yeah.
Stand ready for my arrival, kaiju.
Stand ready for my arrival, Gigan.
Pour one out for all the people who are advocate for Gigan.
Honestly,
Gigan fans on watch right now.
Gigan fans are on watch.
Press
And if
F.
Gigan does show up in the future, cool. Boy. Yeah, Beats from 20,000 Fathoms. It's a good film. It has its reputation for an obvious reason, and it's honestly pretty solid without it. Nothing too crazy, even for the time, though.
Right.
It does deserve that level of respect. It does deserve respect. And Space Godzilla and Supernova. Oh boy, I am very curious.
Watch, the news will just get debunked tomorrow and just say, like, actually, that was just a rumor.
Dangerville's gonna have a field day.
Oh boy.
Well, Dangerville already did a video on Space Godzilla being confirmed.
Yeah, they did. I saw that.
All I know is I need to draw Space Godzilla and soon.
Same.
I might have to put other videos on hold to do a Space Godzilla video, but I don't want to. I might just do a short.
Yeah. And you could do like a speed paint or something.
Yeah, but I don't know what I'd do for Space Godzilla in that case. Like, I love Space Godzilla, but I'm like, I'm at that, like, it's those things where it's like you don't know what's gonna inspire you to do something different for Space Godzilla. There's a lot of things I could do, but just like nothing's drawing to me.
Space Godzilla to me has a lot of the same problems that Destroya, Iris, and Legion have, where while it isn't as complex as they are, it's such a hyper-specific thing that, unlike Mechagodzilla, like we talked about this in the Supernova -0 discussion, Mechagodzilla has a lot more versatility when it comes to like applying the mechanical aspects. Space Godzilla really doesn't have that at all.
Yeah, because he's an alien.
The fact that Intestine was able to make a good, like a strong design as it is, yet still keep the spirit is impressive in its own right.
Yeah, I'm trying to recall it. Like, was there like ever like confirmation of what exactly type scenario resulted in those G cells getting into a black hole and to create
Mothra going to find the comic? She had
Mothra or Biollante, one of the two.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, which one is like the definitive? Like, the film never gives a definitive answer.
Hold on. It was a combination of Biollante, like at the end of Godzilla vs. Biollante, like rising up to space, and then like Mothra going out to look for the meteor or whatever.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, those are like they pretty much like established those as like theories. There wasn't like it wasn't like one or the other.
Well, the thing is that I would ask the question with a question: does Space Godzilla need to have a definitive origin? Because we know at least 2 cases where G cells were in outer space. So therefore, like if we know for a fact that G cells were in space, we know that they would have been there to be mutated.
So basically, like the answer could just be as simple as like, if does it like yes.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, it's the same thing as, like, how does Godzilla mutate? Like, that's what I think I'm responding to with the Rudy's argument. He says, how did they mutate? How did Godzilla mutate other than the fact that we know that the bomb caused it? What exactly did it do to him to cause it to mutate?
It's also, like, radiation has mutative properties. Black holes emit radiation in a very specific kind, and a very powerful kind at that, so... It's not hard to believe.
Well, Godzilla's origins are at least a bit more defined, pretty much in that.
Yeah, but like even then, there's also the factor of the Heisei era has already established supernatural properties, not just with relation, but like objectively. Biollante is supernatural by nature. Mothra is objectively supernatural by nature. Batra is supernatural by nature. All of Rodan in the prior film has supernatural elements based on his death. So it really doesn't make it that hard for me to believe that Godzilla's cells, influenced by either Biollante or Mothra, both of them being overtly supernatural, would lead to this.
Okay, so what you would be saying here in the case of versus Space Godzilla is that that the film has like other bigger issues than that.
Oh, way bigger problems than that.
Yeah. Okay.
Granted,
So that may barely. That's probably so. As far as like issues go, like the fact that we don't exactly know like which scenario of G cells going into space caused Space Godzilla is like
it's
super
also
low
a
on the
factor
list.
of. It's also that Revenge of Iris did a very similar thing with Iris himself. It's not difficult to give multiple origins and not have a definitive one. And
Except I
if anything-
can't think that Iris still did that way better.
Oh no, I agree. Even if I haven't seen Space Godzilla in a while, I agree. So yeah, but yeah, I think it's time we start wrapping up this discussion stream. Yeah, Beast in 20,000 Fathoms is good. Sorry about the tangent on Space Godzilla, even if Space Godzilla is cool. Yeah. Do you have anything to shill, gentle mental gens?
I'll go last since I probably have more.
Okay.
I guess I'll go first. I have a Godzilla vs. Destroyer video still in the works, but it's definitely getting pretty close to being done. Hopefully, I should have it done before Christmas comes around. I also have a stream this coming Saturday that's going to be covering Confused Matthew's video on Kong 05. So that's that's a thought there. I'm also, I guess I'll also be showing up on Minecraft World's stream of Primitive War because I watched it earlier today. So I'll get some thoughts on that one once that stream rolls around. Is that on this? Yeah.
That is this Wednesday. Yeah.
Yeah, this Wednesday. So yeah.
And Zim, feel free to hop in as well if you want to talk Adam.
Oh yes. I'll be. So yeah, you better believe I'll be there. So yeah, subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Follow me on Twitter at CMonsterKCI, and that's all I got.
I said this last night, but follow me on El DeviantArt and El Instagram. I'm trying to draw more stuff. I have a backlog of stuff. I should have a total drawing ready by the end of the day, as well as other stuff I'm needing to pull out. So yeah.
And then you can find me at Zimzilla almost anywhere. Just add an OG in front of it on Twitter, YT behind it on PlayStation. But yeah, Zimzilla almost anywhere. Join the Discord if you haven't. I'm working on an Arctic Giant video. There is a -0 video that I'm working on. I had a Supernova video in the works, and I know that script hasn't been finished or really worked on, but that's definitely going to change now. And I have a Mothra book review that's coming out soon, along with other stuff. So yeah.
Nice. And then you could find me, obviously, here on this channel at Minecraft World 1954. That is my @ or just Minecraft World. I have an upcoming animation reel thing that is going to showcase every single assignment that I did for this year for my animation work. I just need to do some touch-ups on my 2D, on one 2D animation assignment. And then I also, as Sea Monster stated, I have that Adam Does Movies Primitive War discussion, which I know Kuru is not looking forward to it, but hey, I see it as an excuse to talk about Primitive War again, because I love that movie.
It gives me an excuse to talk about it in jump, period.
And an excuse to bash Adam Does Movies.
Another
I'm not sure
reason.
who Adam Does Movies is, but I don't know if I'll join the stream, but I'll be glad to find out who he is.
Oh boy, watch Zimzilla's stream where he talks about his
video.
Yeah, it was last year's, and then we also did Sea Animus, Sea Monster, and I. We watched his Nosferatu videos, which
or maybe I could go in blind just to be more surprised.
You may as well go in blind. I think that might be better.
Go in blind, but watch those videos afterwards, because oh boy, they are a trip. But yeah, and then I also have Instagram, and I have Kara and Blue Sky. I am semi-frequent on those last two. I am very frequent on Instagram. I actually I uploaded an artwork that Zim collaborated with on Instagram. You can find it there, and I think you're going to be sharing it on your next stream.
Yes.
So, yeah, I am incredibly happy with how that turned out, and and go watch The Beast from 20,000 Fathoms, and bye.
Boy.
I like turtles.